Welcome to the Wine Squad, a group of cool young wine lovers traveling South Africa and beyond in search of equally cool people from across the wine world. From winemakers to producers, sommeliers, and chefs, celebrating great people, great stories, and great wine. We kick off the show with a visit to the recent Pick and Pay Wine and Food Festival in the company of Patson Mathonsi. First, though, wine-loving Olympian Sanani Mangisa heads to award-winning restaurant Saints and meets the star of acclaimed wine documentary Blind Ambition, Tinashe Nyamudoka, now producing his own range of fantastic wines.
Hello, Tinashe.
How are you doing?
Fine and you?
Pleasure to meet you.
So,
Fun fact as well, I used to play hockey in primary school.
oh, no way.
Yeah.
What position do you play?
As a goalkeeper for some reason.
Yes,
Got a
dynamite comes in small
Bruises
packages,
as well, yeah.
but I happen to be a goalkeeper as
Yeah,
well.
but I enjoy hockey back in my primary days, and I was fortunate to really play around the schools in Harare. So
Nice. But then you found one, so
yeah.
you ended up finding the good stuff.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your journey. From coming from Zim to South Africa, let's take it back to there.
I grew up in Zim, probably one of the best periods in the 90s.
Yeah.
But wine wasn't that really something we knew.
Yeah.
It wasn't part of the family or culture.
Okay.
So it's just normal, when I finished school, spirits, beer, like everyone else. And I was kind of a rebellious type that I never wanted to do academia.
Really?
So I went straight on to work. Working
That's quite interesting because black families and education.
Yeah.
You have to, sometimes we study just to make sure that we got the degree and then we can go do something else. How did your family take that?
So for me, it was the family dynamics. And so my dad passed on when I was 16,
Okay.
just when I was finishing my O-levels. And I lived with my dad, and my aunts were all over UK. So it was that period where there wasn't really someone questioning the thing.
Yeah.
So I was, I was just to do it myself. So no one really questioned me though.
And that could be hard on you. I mean,
Yeah,
also
but they said
having
obviously
lost
to
your
it,
dad as well. Yeah.
you kind of find something to keep yourself busy. So I found working in a supermarket.
Okay.
I was working in just packing tills, but I had good grades, and the manager noticed something in me and said, you know what, you deserve to be doing something better. So they promoted me to manage a bakery. I was managing another department, and at 22 I was already a junior manager in a supermarket.
Nice.
And so even there I was just do odd stuff, studying here and there. Had an entrepreneur thing, as every Zimbabwean would at that time, especially 2008 when we had to find means. So I was a bit of a trader. So it came to a point where, 08 was very challenging, probably one of the hardest years in Zim history. The shelves were empty.
Yeah.
And I saw it firsthand because I was working in a supermarket. So
yeah.
I decided to come to South Africa.
Okay.
I had a friend who was staying in Cape Town, and jumped on a bus, 16-hour journey, 2-day journey actually, from Harare to Cape Town. I landed in Cape Town, and it was almost of a culture shock, bright lights, obviously, and this whole new environment. It felt like being in Europe. I'd never been in Europe, but it also has a different sense. But then you start finding work, and it was hard, like really finding work, because I'd realized you needed working visas. But I think as a community, you start realizing how you can get into the system. I applied for asylum, got my papers, opened a bank account.
Nice.
Then I got my first job working as a baker.
Okay.
Because it was really put to me. I couldn't get the job of manager in a local
and at that point, you were just trying to leave them and try and find another opportunity.
Yeah.
You had no aspirations of
No.
wine.
It was
just
you're going to South Africa, you find something to do. That was 2008. 2010, you watch the World Cup. After the World Cup, I'm going back home to Zim. But it turns out now things got worse and worse in Zim, and you start carving a life in South Africa.
Okay.
And I ended up in restaurants at the Roundhouse in Camps Bay.
Okay.
And it was just by chance, And it was just by necessity as well, because I was working in a bakery getting R8.50 an hour.
Yeah.
And my friends were coming from restaurants with, one day's tip was like my whole week's wages. So it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, that you moved into that.
Move into restaurants just to earn a bit more money. So just moving there, I've always been a curious guy. And I think wine was just so appealing to me in that when we started at the Roundhouse, they were starting a program they called Let's Sell Lobster.
Okay.
So Let's Sell Lobster was designed to take people who've got no prior experience in hospitality and train them to be stewards and ambassadors. And I was one of those guinea pigs. And we had bricklayers,
what a nice time to get in, yeah.
We had like guys from construction. But what was so intriguing in their trainings was how they taught us wine relating to African animals.
Interesting.
So they would, for instance, say Cabernet Sauvignon is like an elephant, It's got thick skin, it's large, it moves gracefully, or you've got this Chardonnay, it's like a fish eagle, king of birds. Chardonnay
and you can relate to that. Are you
so
a bit of an animal lover?
Yeah, okay, it's like I'm an adventurer. I love, and so it appealed to me. I was like, dude, this is easy to learn.
That's an interesting way to get people into wine, because I mean, we'll have a conversation about this. You sometimes you don't want to know about the grapes and this and this. You just want an entry point or something to get you in.
That was the hook for me.
That was a hook for you, yeah.
But in those early days, it was okay. I can learn this and I can understand this, and I can use that knowledge to earn more money in a restaurant, because you all know, to make money in a restaurant, you sell expensive wine, your guest check. So for me, it was learning wine to be able to upsell my skills and to learn more. But once I started drinking the beverage and understanding it, then the whole thing changed. So as I progressed,
at that point, do you as Tinashe at Roundhouse know that there's more to, you could be, yes, you drink, you at Roundhouse, but you could be a sommelier, you could be a winemaker, you could.
It was then put to me, like one of the managers realized, dude, you really enjoying this. You could make a career out of being a sommelier. But for me at that point, it was just foreign. I just needed to make money. But I wasn't really backing down on learning. I was starting to visit vineyards. And we were quite fortunate that these guys, I didn't start from drinking sweet cousins or Niederberg. One of the owners of the Roundhouse was Dale. His father owned Ditoren. Yes. Rob Arnold, his father owned Waterford. So we started drinking the good
nice
stuff.
One. Yeah.
So, and my first good wine was, I think, Rudera Robusto by Teddy Hall. I think it changed my whole perspective of wine. It was like, okay, wine can be really good because it was juicy, it was round, it was velvety, Teddy Hall's Chenin Blanc. So I think from then, it was more of learning to appreciate the wine and learning to sell.
Yeah.
And obviously, as I progressed to the one and only, that's where the whole career progression came from.
So where does that now change from just making money to the love of wine? It's a journey, obviously, but there must be a moment where you go.
I think when I joined One and Only, that's where I really saw the sommelier role. Because in front of me there was a group sommelier for One and Only who would come from Dubai, and everyone is respecting him. The sommeliers, I remember it was Andre Becker and my good friend Eric Potter. They were wine butlers and we were wine waiters.
Yeah.
And for me it was like, okay,
there's levels to this thing.
Yeah, I want to be the group sommelier, and I think that's where I took the shift of professionalizing what I thought was just making money. And they were very good mentors. Andre, man, wherever he is in Sweden, he really took me under his wings and teach me everything, take me to wine farms. And Eric Potter as well, his depth of knowledge was just unanimational. So I used to be asking every question, and he enjoyed teaching me as well. So I think that's where Tinashe started to really craft himself, and I had a lot of role models to look up to, and guys who were just getting into the industry. And I think at that moment, there was still that first blacks into wine, first black sommeliers into wine, and you'd open a magazine, see a Lou Vontezo in there, And obviously I would aspire
I want to be there as well.
Be there, so, but it was good role models who had powerful stories that I had to look up to and really learn from. And in learning, I was also finding things I could do differently to better myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's one important thing young guys have to do. There's nothing bad aspiring and wanting to be a Tinashe.
No, for sure.
But there's I think to be a better of yourself is to do the things that I do better and even perfect where I'm not doing right, because I can't be doing right all the time. So I think that's the perspective I took. And I looked at all the guys who were in front of me and almost modeled myself to make a super sommelier.
Yeah. Let's move on a little bit to the wine. So we moved from Zim to Cape Town to the Roundhouse, one and only. How do we get to Kumusha Wines?
Kumusha Wine. I think Kumusha Wine came about where I then moved to Durban. I could have got a better job in Cape Town, but I chose KZN because, I was going to the Oyster Box Hotel, being sommelier there.
Yeah.
Like KZN, man, there's really nothing much to do there. But it gave me time to really focus and understand what I wanted to do in the wine industry space, and to think about ideas. And one thing I vividly remember was there was another wave of xenophobia in 2014.
Yeah.
And one number which came about was there's 3 million Zimbabweans living in South Africa. Geez, I could come up with a business idea to target all those 3 million. If I could only get 10, 1,000, I don't need all 3 million. I just need 10. So that's why I started formulating my business plan. Like, okay, I could get into wedding space, get wines, Zimbabwean weddings, supply wine. So that's where, if I go back to my journals, that's where the whole wine journey started.
Yeah.
But obviously, I wasn't experienced enough. I wasn't wine judging. My knowledge then wasn't so proper, but a good lesson to many people. It's always good to write the ideas down.
Yeah.
So I kind of kept it. Then 2 years down the line, I joined the Test Kitchen.
Nice.
Which was then the best restaurant in Africa, in Cape Town. And I remember, Luke, I'd met Luke when I was working at the One and Only.
Yeah.
And you said, if you want to crack, come here.
Come here, yeah.
Which was a tough decision to make because, as glamorous as it seems, I had to take a financial cut because I was working for a big hotel. And now I'm working for a restaurant. But I think for me, the pull of working with the best chef, one of the best chefs in the world.
Yeah, you don't get better.
You don't get better. And it proved to be a wise decision as well.
Yeah.
So I think getting into the Test Kitchen really developed me into a whole Tinashe, because now for the first time I was running a beverage program alone.
And you were responsible for it.
I was responsible from sourcing wines, doing the wine pairings, making sure.
How does that feel? Because we all know caliber of Luke Dale Roberts and his levels of standards and stuff. Now he's entrusted you with that.
It was almost throwing me in the deep end. But first weeks was like felt like really drowning. It was the first time I was really put in that position.
Yeah.
And I didn't anticipate how much work that was going to entail.
I can imagine.
I think the first 3 weeks were really tough. I think in the first month I went back to him and said, I don't think I'm cut for this. And he was like, no, dude, you're talking nonsense.
Leave me alone.
If I didn't feel like you're the best ones for this place, tell me what you need and
I'll support you.
I'll support you. And one of the great things I still respect about him is just like, what, I recognize your ambition. I love it, but I'm not going to get into the way of it as long as you know where your bread is being buttered. So I think for me, I learned quite immensely, especially on the food side. Discovering taste, different cooking techniques. And I would say I probably spent 60% of my time learning about food at the Test Kitchen.
Nice.
In my entire working time that I was with wine, because there's so much to learn, new dishes coming out, new flavors, and it almost developed my palate. In turn, I was tasting quite a lot of wine. Everyone wanted the wine at the Test Kitchen. So
you've got good food and you need to pair it with some great wine.
So every morning you're working, there's 3 people waiting for you to taste wine. And for me, I wanted to taste quite a lot. So that's when I did. And over the years, I sensed the opportunity I could make a wine brand.
Okay.
And with his blessings, He gave me the opportunity to try it, but he just said one thing is you gotta make it work in the test kitchen, because if you can't sell it elsewhere, we'll just use it here.
Yeah.
So even up to now, I still sell it at the test kitchen.
Nice. Let's go a little bit into the wine. So I'll preface. I've had your Chenin, which is lovely. So what do you have for us today?
So I'm giving you my Cabernet Sauvignon, which was the first red I produced.
Okay.
And old school, back in the day, they were using this type of blend. For me, I felt it worked in a restaurant that I was working for. It's quite light, it's quite elegant. It's not about power. It's not about, knocking you off. It's more about finesse and elegance and freshness and lightness. Characteristics that I love in wine, because
a little bit of Cinsa in there, which is different for me, because Cab Sav is usually full-bodied Cab Sav.
So the Cinsa kind of softens it up and make it much more approachable. So this is a 21 vintage, and already we're really enjoying it. And it's a wine that I feel benefits with 2 or 3 years in a bottle.
Okay.
Really does well. I wish I could make enough of it, but yeah.
How many bottles are you making roughly?
Probably around 14,000 bottles. And to give you a perspective, it's just not enough for New York alone.
I was also saying I literally need to get my hands on it then, because before it gets to New York.
Yeah.
Oh, this is lovely. That Cinsa really brings a little bit of a lighter, because Cab Savs, as I said, full-bodied and
And interestingly enough, where we get the Cab Sav in the Slangouk Valley, it's not just Stellenbosch, bigger red fruit, dark fruit cab. So it's much more slightly on the red currants, red berries. So I think that's where the combination works with this fruit.
Nice. And then you've also got a Sauvignon Blanc in your range.
Sauvignon Blanc I get from Saunders Kloof, and the Chenin from the Brede River. Then I've got a Pinotage from Swartland, a Bordeaux blend.
I have to taste that, because Pinotage has got a bad rep in South Africa. It just, I don't think people are drinking the right Pinotage, or maybe we've just given it a bad rep. So I want to make a point to make sure I taste that.
Yeah, you better. Then I've worked on a Bordeaux blend with a Danish State Line Stellenbosch as well.
Okay.
Also not about power, elegance, finesse. Then I have Flame Lily, my flagship white. Okay. Then I have a Cabernet Sauvignon straight, and the Sauvignon Blanc again, and the delicious Rosé as well.
All right. Yeah, Rosé is the cousin that's maybe forgotten now and again.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure I get the whole range and taste it. But thank you for your time.
Awesome. Pleasure.
We'll keep drinking.
Yeah, can't stop.
Here's to many more glasses, and here's to more success.
Sure, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tinashe's wine is now available in stores across South Africa, and Blind Ambition is available on DSTV. From one of the most happening restaurants in Joburg to the cosmopolitan heart of Midrand, we meet up with Patson Mathonsi at the Pick and Pay Food and Wine Festival as he joins the crowd for a fantastic Saturday.
Hi, good day. My name is Patson Mathonsi. I'm a wine sommelier by profession. I'm here at the Pick and Pay Wine and Food Festival. Looking forward to trying some really, really good wines today. There's lots of Cape Classics, lots of whites, lots of reds. Looking forward to trying the whites, gearing up for the new season. It's actually a good day today, perfect day to try some really, really good wines. I must say, the weather gods are really, really with us today. Amazing day.
Welcome to Lavinia. We're showcasing the Stellenbosch Classic, which is a blend. Also showing the Horizon Pinotage. Remember, this is one of the South African Pinotages which is not wooded. And we also have got a Pinotage, which we make our rosé from. And we also have got the Brut, which is the MCC, which our Brut rosé, which is also made from Pinotage. So basically, Lavinia is one of the small boutique farms, which is also well known for producing the Grand Provence. We've got a single block, which is a Pinotage, and we also produce our best ever Chenin, which is made from 30 and over years vineyards. The Pinotage Brut Rosé, it is made from Pinotage grapes. It is made from the second fermentation, which spent 18 months on the barrel. It has got some citrus and some lemonish, some limeish aromatic flavor compounds.
So Pierre Gerard is also part of the Hot Cabinet family. So the owner, Achim von Allem, started the farm, both farms, which is now run by Tapan von Allem. Two great farms. Pierre Gerard specializes more in sparkling wines, Kertasi, and then the Hot Cabinet more still wines. The farm is mainly focused on Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. So anyone who wants to come through to the farm in Franchou, come enjoy the food, enjoy the wines, and you'll have a great time. So my favorite here is the Belle Rosé. For me, today I've just had it with oysters, which is beautiful, but remember with Camp Classique, with anything you can join with anything on its own.
So today we're showcasing our two vintages, being the Graham-Beck Pinot Noir and the Blanc de Blancs. So those are both our 2017 vintages that we've got today. And then we also have our rosés, which is the Brut Rosé and our Bliss Nectar Rosé. It's actually funny because everybody's loving our Bliss Nectar Rosé, and it's one of the ones we actually decided that, you know what, we're going to just take what people know, which is the normal Bliss Nectar, and bring in the Bliss Nectar Rosé, which people have not been, well, buying them a lot of. And then we said, okay, let's bring something different, and people are loving it, and it's been doing well today. Goes back to the education that we're providing on the ground. People are learning that we are giving good quality from our own Cape Town and other regions. So indeed, people are loving our brands, and as I said, they realize that, you know what, why buy champagne when you can buy Camp Classic, you know what I mean? We actually appreciate the support from the public and the wine lovers, and we promise to bring more out there, and people should look out for a whole lot more from Graham-Beck. I'm actually enjoying what we call the Ultra Brut, which is a zero dosage bubbly that we have. We call that, we've got a name for it, we call it the skinny jean movement. Why? For guys like us who are trying to get into skinny jeans and get rid of these pot bellies. But that's my, and I normally enjoy it with my oysters.
So the Boulevard brand was started by DJ Zintle. He started it in terms of uplifting the market, the MCC market in South Africa, since we kind of have a shortage about it. And we do have like the best grapes, so they're hand-picked and it's luxurious, kind of like a luxurious brand as well. Yeah. So the wine in the bottle, you have at the moment you have the Nectar Rosé and just the simple Nectar. So the Nectar is a mixture of Chardonnay, Pinot Noir grapes, hand-picked, and the Rosé is basically kind of a fermented grape. So it went undergo fermentation for about 9 months. It has about 12% of ABV, and it's quite it's semi-sweet, I would say. It's not very sweet as people would say with the other Rosé type of nectars as well.
It's been an amazing day today. I've really enjoyed the wines. The Creative Block 3 from Spear was amazing. The Chardonnay Pinot Noir was really out of this world as well. Cape Classic, look out for the Crone, the Brut. I just found out they actually add a little bit of Pinot Blanc as well, which is amazing. Very interesting Cape Classic. The Graham-Beck Blanc de Blanc was really amazing as well. Friars Cove, Pinot Noir, beautiful wine. It's been an amazing day. Thank you.
A great day out celebrating wine, food, music, and wonderful people. Join us next time when Dave Mfeka meets Duncan Savage's winemaker Panele Vakele, and Sanani discovers how Katlego Batovela became one of South Africa's most exciting sommeliers. Goodbye and see you next time.